Yo, what up everybody, Arie here, and in today's video, I want to share with you 3 trending Shopify niches that you should start your business in. Coming up with a worthwhile idea to start a business in, especially in e-commerce, is probably the hardest thing to do, especially since you don't know if this idea or the niche that you're selling in is a good one, if it's popular, or if it'll last a long time. And I know how painful it can be to brainstorm ideas and not be able to choose one and just finally get started. So my goal with this video is to give some of you that are looking for potential business ideas the perfect examples of niches that are amazing to start a business in, that are not only trending but are actually evergreen, which means that these niches are likely to be around for decades to come. So if that sounds interesting, give this video a like. I know it's so annoying when YouTubers say that, but it really does help the videos get more exposure, which is a great free way to support the channel. So if you could do that real quick, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's not waste any time here. So the first niche I want to share with you guys is quite simply the coffee niche. So the coffee niche is one of the most powerful niches out there because everybody loves coffee and everybody loves caffeine, and people are quite literally addicted to caffeine. As you can see by the Google search data here, the Google Trends search data, we can see that coffee is continuously becoming more and more popular, and that's a really good thing, of course. And what's really interesting is to see the different countries that are searching for coffee. So for example, Australia actually is more interested in coffee than even the United States. So this is actually a great example of why emerging markets sometimes are actually really good to start businesses in, because you're going to avoid a lot of competition, which will obviously really help your business. So I want to show you this brand that I found on Instagram that I think is a really great example of a brand in the coffee niche that you could potentially get inspiration from. So I'm going to be doing that with each one of these niches, of course. I said in the title that I'd give you examples, so I'm going to give you examples. Now, this is actually a really cool store that I found, again, on Instagram. That's how I find most brands. I think Instagram just knows that I'm always looking for brand design ideas, so they always show me just amazing brands, which is great. Thank you, Instagram. But as you can see, this brand is beautiful, and it's called fellowproducts.com. Now, what they do is they just sell brewing equipment. So they have mugs, they have glasses, and they even have like brewing stations. So let's click shop the kit. So as I said, the coffee niche is evergreen, but another thing that's really interesting about it is that it's actually a pretty high ticket niche if you can position your brand in the right way. So this brand, for example, sells this pour over kit for $229, which is actually pretty expensive if you think about it. Of course, I'm sure you do get what you pay for to an extent, but a lot of times I find these new e-commerce brands that just really focus on their branding and marketing to not have the best products possible, but that's okay because they can always improve them, and that's obviously totally normal. I feel like that's how businesses go. You don't start out with just the perfect product, but that's a great thing about this niche is that you can actually sell things for a pretty good price if they're made well, or if you can brand your site in a very clean and sophisticated way. While I do like this brand a lot, I am actually not the biggest fan of their branding. I think it could be a lot better, but it's still really good, obviously, and they're doing quite well. Their ads are also really good. But if I was to rebrand this website, one of the easiest things that I would do to make it a lot better is use a serif font. This is a sans serif font that I think would be better used for more electronic type brands, whereas I think personally that when whoever's going to be making coffee is going to be making coffee at home. So I think a serif font would make it feel a lot more homey, more cozy. If you don't know what a serif font means, that just means fonts that have these little serifs at the end of them. This is actually a big typography trend right now. I think mainly because a lot of people are working from home, staying home more. And again, these types of fonts just feel more human, less modern, which actually can work really well. So yeah, this is the first example. And again, that's a really easy thing that you could improve right away. If you have a coffee brand, it's just switch up the brand style with just using a different font. Honestly, I have like a small obsession with fonts. I think a lot of people who are very into branding also do, and it's because it's such a little thing that can make such a big difference. So moving on to the next niche, this one is again a niche that is not only trending, but it's also evergreen at the same time, which means it will never not be a thing. It continuously is getting more and more attention. And the niche is the sleep niche. As you can see with this search trend right here, I looked up the word insomnia, which is a very common condition that a lot of people have now, which prevents them from being able to fall asleep. So that's a huge problem. I mean, sleep is like an essential life force. And if you don't get sleep, like that's really gonna have a negative effect on your life. So of course, people are very much trying to solve that problem. And here is a perfect example of a sleep brand that just looks really cool. I found this brand on Instagram. I got shown this. I don't suffer from insomnia, but my girlfriend does have sleep issues sometimes. And I will say most of the time she just uses melatonin, and that helps more than like CBD stuff that she's tried in the past, for example. So that's something that you could keep in mind if you are planning to start a brand in this niche, is that sometimes you can just keep it simple, just melatonin gummies or something that maybe are made in a healthier way if possible. That would be a great idea. And as you can see, this brand is using a serif font like I was mentioning earlier. And personally, again, I'm not a huge fan of the branding here. Like, this brand does look cool, but for example, I don't think this serif font mixes well with this. Like, this looks like, I don't even know what font, like Futura font or something. It looks very futuristic, but then this font doesn't look that way. So to me, it kind of clashes a lot. And $45 for just one little jar, that's really expensive. So as you can see, they do use melatonin in there, but they just add a bunch of other stuff that could potentially help, which is actually really nice. But yeah, this might not be the easiest niche to get started in, but there are so many potential products that you could sell related to niche that would help people get better sleep. For example, like comfier bed sheets, a comfier pillow, sleep masks, blinds, like something that would make the room darker. Stuff like that really helps. So you could start researching how to help people get better sleep, and then doing some product research related to some of those things that help people get better sleep. So that's the second niche. And then the last niche that I want to share with you is actually the sanitizing niche. So as you can see, bacteria is on the rise. This is no surprise due to the COVID-19 outbreaks. Now, I do think that maybe that will subside in the future. Like, we'll be seeing less and less people worrying about COVID, but I think COVID had a lasting impact in our society. And I think people are going to be much more prone to protecting themselves through hand sanitizer or whatever means possible to prevent from spreading bacteria. Now, the brand example I want to show you is quite interesting. You can see it right here. It's a little bit sexual, which is kind of surprising. I mean, this is actually not what I thought when I first saw this brand, but nevertheless, I think it's a really interesting example. So what this brand sells is hand sanitizer for the senses. So they took something that was quite popular, added a little bit of a twist to it, and now it's a great idea. So hand sanitizer for the senses, as you can see, they just have these little tiny cartridges of hand sanitizer. It softens your skin as well as makes it smell good. So that's actually pretty awesome. I would love to try out one of these, and their website is actually quite nice. I do really like this branding. This branding is really cool in my opinion. This is probably my favorite branded store so far. And again, just like how we talked about with the sleeping niche, this may not be the easiest niche to get into, but because of that, it makes it a really good niche. Any niche that is hard to get into will reduce the amount of competition that you have, allowing you to take a bigger share of the market without having to maybe spend as much money on ads as your competitors and stuff like that. And again, just like how we talked about with the sleeping niche, maybe a great way to start getting product ideas for this is going on Google, Googling how to prevent bacteria from spreading, and then trying to find products that maybe would help some of those tips out. And I think it's really interesting how this brand positions itself as like a sexy scent brand. That's really weird. I've never heard of anything like that. So very original. Again, the branding is on point, and yeah, they're just killing it. I think this is really cool, and I think they really capitalized on a niche that is gonna boom in the next years and is already trending. And that's all the niches that I wanted to share with you today. I figured, a lot of people need ideas, and I come across so many different brands on a daily basis. I literally have so many potential brands to share with you guys. And I know most of you guys follow me for Shopify e-commerce content, even though I haven't been making more variety content lately, which has been really cool. And I'm really happy that you guys are really liking that stuff too, like investing, just general life tips and stuff like that. But yeah, if you got value out of this video, make sure you give it a quick like. That would really help me out, and subscribe to the channel for more. If you love learning every day like I do, then this is the perfect community for you to be a part of. But that's all I got today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Peace.